Right.
In August 2023, a new world opens. A fun festival held for 12 days. The dream of youth around the world to Seemangum. Draw your dream. 2023 Seemangum 25th World Scout Jamboree. A gift from nature, a living and breathing treasure, a mysterious story that has held for tens of thousands of years. Beautiful heritage awaits you. On the stage of passion and dreams, having a happy dream. 2023 Seemangum 25th World Scout Jamboree. In the endlessly unfolding Seemangum, dreams of youth bloom in a new way. Mountains, sea, through thrilling adventures on the river, through delicious experiences, through a fun experience. Beyond pleasure to newness. Only at the 2023 Seemangum 25th Scout Jamboree. Smarter. Safer. Enjoy more conveniently. Festival of Scouts around the world. 2023 Seemangum 25th World Scout Jamboree. Now, here, as one dream, meet the Festival of Unity. 2023 Seemangum 25th World Scout Jamboree. Preparation for the future of youth around the world. A bigger world will open in 2023. Draw your dream. 2023 Seemangum 25th World Scout Jamboree.
Good evening. I should have put a little bet on to see how many times I said 2023 and 25th World Scout Jamboree, but that kind of sets us up nicely to what we're going to be looking at this evening. So I'm Tim Atherton, those that don't know me. I'm ACC International for Solihull. We've got various other people joining the call as well as people that are interested. We've also got Shirley, our County Commissioner. We've got past participants, past unit leaders from USA. We've got George from USA 2019. I believe Paul Webb is also joining us, who led Sweden back in 2011. I went to Japan in 2015. And we've got Scott Morgan from Coventry, who went to USA 2019 as a unit leader and is also part of the contingent support team for Korea. So kind of between us, we've got a lot of experience. So the kind of the main thrust of tonight is going to be asking questions. There'll be a short overview of what the Jamboree might look like. There's a little disclaimer there. We're still quite early into the Jamboree journey. I know we're less than kind of 2 years away, but the information with any Jamboree kind of drip feeds out over that time. So we're not holding anything back. We're going to tell you everything we know, but we don't know a lot is kind of where we're at. There'll be loads of opportunity for questions at the end. If you have got questions you think of, if you stick them in the chat, or we'll just go around when we've finished. So 2023, if you didn't catch that from the video, is when it's going to be. However, the Jamboree is more than kind of 3 weeks in Korea. It's a journey from right now. So the Jamboree itself is from the 1st to 12th of August 2023. And that's the Jamboree on site. In terms of the dates that the UK contingent will be going out, they're to be confirmed. And that will depend on lots of factors. Firstly, whether there's going to be a pre or post event. There will be, not sure on which end it's going to be. And in previous jamborees, that's kind of varied between units. So some of the units have done a pre-event, some have done a post-event. So until we know what's happening there and which side we're going on, whether pre or post, then we should know more. Home hospitality. This is something that that's been offered for jamborees for many years. Unfortunately, the UK scouting rules have changed, and there's going to be no home hospitality, so no staying in private dwellings in any international. So not just for this jamboree, moving forward, there'll be no home hospitality. So just waiting to hear whether there's going to be something else instead. So that's kind of up in the air a little bit at the moment. And of course, the jamboree doesn't finish as soon as you get on that plane to come back home. There'll be post events as well. So directly after the jamboree, and then maybe for the months following the jamboree as well. So it's a big commitment. It's from autumn this year until probably at least Christmas time in 2023. So Seimangum, I believe it's pronounced. My Korean isn't very good, so apologies for that. So a little map there to show you whereabouts in a Korean peninsula it is. Quite a long way from the airport, so a nice drive through or train through the countryside to get there. It's a tiny site. So in comparison to USA in 2019, that's 57 square kilometers. This is a 10-kilometer site. So it's going to be very compact. So less walking. I know some of the previous jamborees has been lots of walking around, but everything's going to be in a small site. Right on the edge of the sea, views of mountains, and there's a real drive for being eco-friendly. So they've custom built this as an eco-friendly land. And that's the kind of the artist's impression of the jamboree site. So as I said before, it's going to be very, very compact. So hopefully everyone here is joined because you're interested in being a unit leader. So who can apply? So as long as you're 18, any scouting background or role, that's really important to mention really. So we're not just looking for explorer leaders, it's any role. So inclusivity is a massive part of what we're doing. However, if you weren't in that age range, we would expect you'd be doing some work with that age range leading up to the jamboree. So just because you're not an explorer leader doesn't mean you can't join the leadership team. And either complete your wood badge or working towards it, and all of the mandatory training. So everything from first aid, safeguarding, and of course nights away as well would all need to be done. Don't have to have them completed now, but we would have the expectation that they'll be completed as soon as possible. We want someone that's a team player. You'll be working in a very tight, close-knit team within the unit. I'll explain the unit makeup in a minute. Organised. The leaders that have been in the past will, I'm sure, will back me up on this. It's a mammoth organisational feat to get 36 young people across the world to another country, and it's not just about that jamboree, it's about all the training and the fundraising that leads up to that as well. Someone that's calm and decisive. Time is a massive commitment. I know scouting's not just 2 hours a week, but the jamboree is not just 2 weeks across the 2 years. There'll be lots of time on top of your current scout commitments. So we just need to think about whether you need to tweak your current scout commitments, whether you can do everything, because people need a kind of a home life as well. And it is a big time commitment. Be able to build relationships, so with other unit leaders, with the unit itself, with parents, with the counties, with the region. There's lots of relationships that we're building up, and lots of other bits and pieces happening in the background. I've tried to preempt this one a little bit because I know it's always a question. So how much will it cost? I don't know is the answer. The UK contingent's hoping that there'll be no more fee announced kind of autumn this year. But as ever, we don't think money should be a barrier to attendance, and we have helped participants in the past on the financial side of things. I'd kind of guess it's probably in a region of about £5,000 per participant. Scott, to put you on the spot here, any more on the cost? Have you heard anything more from your CST point of view?
Yeah, so I think 5 would definitely be at the top end, and kind of in and around the figures that have been in the past. So the USA was 3,495 per person. So if I put it this way, that was our starting point for this year to make sure that we're around there. But yeah, as I said, it'll be released in the next couple of months. But yes, as Tim said, don't let it be a barrier. But we want to make it as inclusive as possible as well.
Scott. And obviously, the opportunity for fundraising. I do think the fundraising picture will probably look different to previous years due to COVID, but obviously there'll be support from across the counties as well to help with the fundraising. So what do we need to do? So kind of the leader team, the unit. So we're acting on behalf of the UK contingent as well as our 2 counties, so as well as Solihull and Coventry. So we need to achieve the UK contingent vision and bring that back locally. Youth Shaped is a massive part of this jamboree. So it's involving the young people at every stage. It's not saying, well, we let the young people choose the colour of the neckerchief or design the badge. It's every decision point. There's a drive that it's youth shaped. So everything from leader recruitment up until all the decisions going to the jamboree will be youth shaped all the way through. Making sure units are inclusive and safe spaces. Inclusivity is a massive part of thing. So removing any barriers to making sure that anyone that wants to attend can attend. Personal development. So as a leader, there's a massive amount of growth and personal development, but also for every single unit participant as well, there's that opportunity. Preparation for the jamboree. Don't underestimate the importance of this and also kind of how long it takes. So thinking and breaking down all the different bits and pieces. You might have some young people that have never been abroad before, and certainly not to Korea before. For instance, when we went to Japan, we had some bizarre unit training events, which included timed runs getting onto a bullet train because it only stops for 60 seconds. So you get the whole unit on in less than 60 seconds, to tsunami drills, to cultural lessons and language lessons. Just all that, getting ourselves prepared, ready to go to the jamboree. Engaging our local communities. So as a jamboree unit, actually doing things locally. And I keep saying this, but it's not just about Korea. I know that's the main focal point of it, but what can we do back home, and what's our legacy? So what we're going to leave for the next participants, what we're going to leave for our counties after the event. So one of the strap lines from the contingent is think big, dream wild, act together. So dream wild is one of the big key phrases from the UK contingent. So a little bit of history. So we applied earlier this year for patrols. Each unit's made up of 4 patrols. We were lucky enough to get 2 patrols, and we're forming up with Coventry again for the second jamboree in a row. So we're really pleased that Solihull and Coventry are joining together again to make up unit 85. So there's 90 units across the UK, and we're unit 85. So the makeup of that will be 36 young people, because we've got 2 patrols from Solihull and 2 patrols from Coventry. That's 18 young people from each, and 4 leaders. So the way the leaders are split, so there's 1 unit leader, a deputy unit leader, and then 2 assistant unit leaders. So it'll be 2 leaders from Coventry and 2 from Solihull. And then the breakdown of who's the unit leader and deputy unit leader, that's not county specific. So obviously that's a unit decision. That equates to about 3,000 young people and 1,000 adults, all going across to South Korea. I've touched a little bit on the timeline so far. So we're at the stage now where we're in the recruitment of the adults. The applications went live last week. Hopefully you've all seen that. If you haven't, there'll be information in a minute how to access those application forms and also the information packs. So that closes at 1 minute to midnight on Sunday, the 19th. And then there'll be a reasonably quick turnaround to shortlist some candidates ready for a leader selection on the 2nd of October. Not sure exactly what the leader selection will look like. We have got rough close booked in terms of what we're actually doing that day. It's to be announced, but just try and make sure you've got that day blocked out. If you've got any issues with that date, then let us know. I know a couple of people have already. And then once the leader selection is in place, that's where I step back really, and it's over to the unit leader team to do the rest. So the young people need to be selected, suggesting that's kind of done October, November time to hit that key date really of Christmas for fundraising, because that's normally a good fundraising time for units. So getting that unit in this side of Christmas so we can start fundraising, so we can start unit training, because the time will fly away from us very quickly. So unit in place by November, December time, and then training and fundraising starts. Those that are interested in IST, if anyone is and then want to ask about it at the end, that's fine. We've got I know Peter's on two meetings at the moment, but hopefully he's listening somewhere in the background. He's been to IST, and I think we've got a couple of other people that have been on IST before can help with that. But that selection is done nationally. It's not a local selection, but that will look in kind of January 2022. So how can you apply? All the information is on the Sol Jam website. There's an application form electronically on there for the Solihull people, and there's a Word document for the Coventry guys on there as well. As I said, the applications close just before midnight on Sunday, with a selection event on the 2nd. Mentioned before about Youth Shape, who will be involving young people in the selection process, and obviously the inclusivity part. There is a part on the form. The form isn't endless. There's not loads of questions. I think on the Solihull one, there's one main question. On the Coventry one, it's split down into 3. We don't need War and Peace, but we just need to kind of get a bit of a flavour about who you are and why you want to go on the Jamboree journey. Also, make sure in there if there's any additional needs that you need for the selection process or for the Jamboree itself. There's an opportunity to put those down there, just so we can make sure we've got all that covered off. And so certainly the leader selection is as inclusive as possible, and we can involve everybody. Don't need to say much about that slide really. That is a really quick rundown of what we know so far. And like I said before, it's not a lot. We don't know a lot. And more information will be kind of drip fed out to us as the year goes on. So really now open it up to questions. If anyone's got any questions, anything that I've missed, anything you need clarifying. So thanks, Mike's put on the group. Is there any process available for those who are unable to attend the selection day that can't make it? We'll review that. You know, we want everyone to have the opportunity, and in the past we have done multiple selections. I think we'll have a look and see who we've got and when people can do, and then we'll review that. We just needed a kind of a hard stop, really a hard date to have initially. But yeah, we wouldn't want to exclude people if they couldn't make the 2nd, because I appreciate it's not very far away and people have got other commitments. Thanks, Mike. Whilst people are thinking of questions, George, can I put you on the spot? Have you got anything else to add from a USA point of view that you think would be helpful that I've maybe missed out?
I didn't think there was anything like major that we could add. I mean, when we went out, we were really lucky with our 4 leaders, and we had a fantastic time out there. But we did put in a lot of time as a leadership group beforehand. We were meeting once a month. And we were going, we did a camp, I think once a term. Scott, was it once a term?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and so actually it is a huge time commitment in that sense. But we made it so much fun, and we did have an absolutely fantastic time with the build up before we went.
Right, yeah. Thanks, George. Scott, anything from from CST point of view or a USA point of view, or any other experience?
Yeah, I guess from if from a USA point of view, it's the unit leader is the best job to do. You get to take these young people on a journey for the next 2 years, see them grow, see them develop, and equally you as a leadership team will develop and grow. And I think it's really important that the leadership team have that time together and gel and iron out all the kinks, because at the end of the day, if you are, as a leadership team, one voice, especially when you're on the Jamboree, you won't have issues and you can deal with all the actual issues that you're dealing with whilst you're out there. And then putting contingent hat on, I think it's going to be an amazing Jamboree. It's going to be like no other Jamboree we've had before. We've obviously got the elephant in the room that is COVID, and all those challenges. So the fundraising, the socialising and everything at the moment, obviously we're green in the UK, which is great. As a contingent, we're working through to mitigate those risks and make sure that everyone is going to be safe and we're all going to be covered when we're heading out there and in the build-up as well. So yeah, it's going to be it's a massive contingent. It's bigger than the one we took to Japan. It's going to be on the same level, or it's slightly less than America. But for a Jamboree of this scale, we're going to be the biggest contingent out there, second to the Koreans only. But yeah, it's one hell of an experience and a real privilege to be involved in at any level.
Scott, I think the COVID is a really interesting point. Yeah, it's all very unknown at the moment. Obviously, we've had massive implications around insurance recently. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But it's definitely in the forefront of everyone's minds in the organisation. Thank you. I can see Simon's on. Simon, anything else to add from your point of view?
Evening. Fully agree with both those points. You know, it was a very worthwhile 2-3 year process because we have, you know, a bit afterwards as well. It's a big development opportunity for the youth guys and the leaders. It's not to be underestimated. It's quite a large task. Not trying to put anyone off it, but organisation wise, people management wise, including parent management. But it does, you do see the benefits, you know. At the end of it, it was a really worthwhile exercise. Probably, you know, one of the best things I've done. So yeah, end on a high.
Thanks, Simon. So we've heard from a few people from USA. Obviously, I was in Japan. For me, an amazing experience. Paul, anything from Sweden back in 2011?
No, I mean, it was again. It was an absolutely fantastic experience. One, it bestowed me forever. But I think, as Simon mentioned, don't underestimate the amount of work involved. And again, I'm not trying to put people off. It is a massive, massive commitment. Not just the Jamboree is a fantastic event in itself, but I must admit personally, the lead up to the Jamboree, the fundraising, the development of the kids, working with the parents, that was a fantastic experience in itself. It is a lot of hard work, but boy, is it worth it. It's the best experience in the world. So by all means, go for it. Yeah, please don't underestimate the amount of commitment involved, but there is a reason for that. And when you get there, you'll realise why.
Fantastic, thank you. Has anyone got anything else, any other thing to add, any questions? Now's your opportunity. If you do think of something afterwards, my email address popped up and Sarah's was on there as well. Just international at Solihull Scouts, then feel free to drop me an email.
Yeah, I've got one question, Gareth here. So we're the very dark crowd. We're not getting onto anything, honestly. I just want to ask a question about leadership and young leaders, so young kids, because obviously my lad is in the unit and would be looking to go for a participant entry. Obviously, I don't want him to get a cheeky run in. He has to get there just like everybody else. But is there any barriers to that?
Absolutely not. You know, we'll put out the age ranges in terms of participants as long as they qualify. You know, there will be no barriers to just because they're it's your son. Obviously, they go through the same process as everybody else, which should be a fair process.
It'll be harder for them.
Yeah, one thing I would add on a serious note, it's the Jamboree is not like no other international experience, so it's something to think about, and think about whether your young person will get the same benefit and same experience as every other young person, because they feel like because you're there, is that going to affect their experience and give them the freedom and independence like everyone else is getting? So I'd say it'd be something to think about. Like Tim said, there's nothing stopping you applying and then your young person applying and then coming with you. But yeah, definitely something to think hard about and whether that's the right thing for you and your young person. I know a lot of people defer applying for unit leader roles when their kids are of the age, just to give them that experience. But they have got his IST, so it's very personal. It's down to you and your lad or your girl to discuss, I guess.
I think it's fair to say as well with the previous jamborees. In fact, the last 3 or 4 I've been involved with, helping to select the young people to go, and there is a lot of demand, a lot of competition for people to actually attend the jamboree. It's had such a big hype over the years, and such fantastic feedback coming back. More and more young people want that opportunity. So there will be a lot of competition for those places to go. Just to pre-warn everybody, really, because you'll end up with an absolutely fantastic bunch of young people to go out there. But yeah, there's a bit of a journey to get there.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys.
Brilliant, thank you. There's no more questions. Shirley, can I hand over to you?
Right, well, just really to sort of say thank you very much, Tim, to Scott, to George, to Simon, Paul, for their insights, and hopefully it's given you some inspiration, and you got your applications in. And look forward to seeing you on the 2nd for selection, or whatever other arrangements we'll make. Everybody absolutely going to have a fair chance at going through for selection. I'm really pleased that Coventry and Solihull working together again as a joint unit. Did put in a special request, and I'm glad that that was listened to. It worked so well last time round, and I'm really looking forward to working with Michelle, your new CC, as on this journey, going forward towards taking another fantastic set of 36 kids on this amazing adventure. My son went to Sweden with Paul, and I saw such a positive impact that it had on him and his life. So as Tim says, if you've got any other questions, don't hesitate to get in touch, because it's always the way, in the meeting and there's, oh, I wish I'd said this, I wish I'd asked that. So thanks ever so much for giving up your time.
Can I just say, Shirley, if you can't make the 2nd, if you can just put it on the form as well, your application form, just so we can capture that at that point, so we just know we're not, if you have got other engagements. Yeah, I think the joint unit is really, really good. We've got a really good relationship with Coventry now. I went to Japan as a joint unit. It was a little bit more complicated. We had 2 patrols from Shropshire and 1 from Midland Guides. And that was really tricky. It is difficult to other counties, but I think we've got such a good relationship now with Coventry, and geographically, it's perfect as well. So yeah, really excited to be working with them again. So thanks.
Okay, right. Thanks all. Then I'll stop the recording and I'll share it with Peter so that he can make it available to anybody who wants to. So if you hear of anybody who said, oh, I wish I'd been able to make that meeting, then let us know and we can share the recording with them. Thanks all.
No, cheers then.
Thanks.